What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is David Hanlon, aka the Laptop Legend, and today was a little bit of a choppy day, but it's one of those days where you just gotta go back and focus on the basics. After taking my loss yesterday shorting, I didn't even trade at all in that new account, and I just focused on what I'm good at, which is trading OTCs. And today, even though it was choppy, I still finished up like $1,700 something. So very grateful to be green on the day despite all the choppiness. But we got a lot of good catalysts moving forward for tomorrow, and there's a lot of new things that I want to talk about. So just to name a few of them, number one, we got the stimulus checks that are going to be started to be being deposited. That was good grammar right there. And that's going to be starting tomorrow. So on Wednesday, that's going to be starting. And if last time is anything to judge by, people take that money and they put it directly into the stock market. So I think we should see a little bit more volatility coming up in the OTC markets. At least that is what I'm hoping for. Fingers crossed. The second thing is we actually have an update from, I forget the exact thing, but it sounds like it's going to be harder for market makers to do heavy shorting. So I'm gonna read to you guys a little bit about that. There's like a policy update that is going to take place. It's going to make it a lot more difficult, which in theory should mean that stocks that have been held down and have just been squashed, that shouldn't have been squashed, should actually have the ability to run starting very soon. So I think that's probably the craziest thing, and I don't know if anyone else is talking about it, but I think it's a really big deal. So I just wanted to mention it on here in case you guys hadn't heard about it before. And then the last thing is, obviously, I want to talk about the stocks that I traded today, how I made those $1,700, and what stocks I'm going to be focusing on tomorrow. So without further ado, let's dive right into my computer. I won't pull out my Speedo this time, but let's dive right in. All right, guys, so I'm here at my laptop, and before I talk about the crazy stocks for today, including an OTC stock that was up almost 2,000% on the day at one point, which I think is probably going to have some continuation tomorrow, I wanted to talk about just a few of those things that I mentioned before. So the first thing is, again, you can see here, the official payment date is March 17th. Today is March 16th, so that is going to be tomorrow, and hopefully we should see a nice impact from that. Now, the second thing that I was talking about before is, again, that new rule for basically clearing, and I'll explain a little bit more, but basically, you guys can see this is a 383-page document, and I read through this entire thing to give you guys, I'm just kidding, I didn't read through this entire thing. I actually just did some research online and had some people summarize it for me, and I'm going to go based on this extremely reputable Twitter thread by Mr. Krabs. So I'm not sure why SpongeBob didn't write this, but we got Mr. Krabs writing it. So let me just explain a little bit for you guys what this is, and if this looks like a lot, like a headache, don't get bored by this because this literally is such a big deal. So essentially what it is it's this new rule for shorting, and I'm not going to make you guys read all this, but essentially what it means is that they're going to be keeping the market makers they're going to hold them more responsible for their short positions. And you can see the focus here is on SLDs. They previously calculated the requirements for SLDs for members no later than 5 days prior to the option short expiration activity period, usually the third Friday of each month. So typically, what has been done in the past is that every third Friday of the month, they go in and they keep track of what market makers have what positions. I keep spitting at the camera, I'm sorry, guys. What market makers have what positions, and based off of that, they make them provide some type of, I can't think of the word, it's like capital to offset those costs depending on if they're negative on the position or not. So that's typically what's done, once a month on the third Friday of each month. But now they're moving it to every day. So instead of attempting to guess the sum that they would require in excess, they're going to do it around every single day, which means that they now are going to have a lot less money to be messing with us with, because they, if they're down on a current position, they're going to have to pay that money as kind of an offset, as a hedge, so that these people, the NSCC, don't get screwed if they end up going, belly up on their position. And I think these changes are coming into play because of what happened with GME. So you can see here's an example. The NSCC would be required to demand OTXC, currently shorting VMHB in a big way, to pay an SLD for the difference in their short position at $1 and the price spike of $3 to $4. If their naked short position is 10 million shares, that's $30 million that they would need to produce immediately or cover their short position at whatever price the stock is currently sitting at. This is a really big deal, guys, because in OTC land, these market makers will do what's called naked shorting. And I've talked about this before, but this is literally where they sell shares short that do not exist. Say there's 100 million shares, all 100 million shares have been bought. If people are trying to buy, the market makers will be like, all right, I'm going to just sell you some shares that don't exist. And they do this. They let it go as high as they want, and then they pull the bid, they make the price drop, and they buy back those shares that don't exist at a lower price. And this is part of how they make money. Now, their job is to create liquidity, so they're allowed to do this naked shorting that we can't do. If there's no shares, we're not allowed to short, but they're still allowed to short. And they've screwed a lot of stocks because of this. They've held down a lot of stocks. But now, they're going to have to produce that money and pay it as collateral. That's the word I was looking for, collateral, or they're going to have to buy back into their position. And they have to do this within 1 hour of notice. And this is on all these tickers. So there's no free cash for the day. So this could see some crazy short squeezes. I don't know about this ticker in particular. I haven't looked at it, but oh my goodness. This could make it really, really insane. And from what I've seen here, it's going to go into effect on March 19th. So definitely, guys, definitely do some of your own DD. I was seeing some other sources that confirm this. I was doing some reading on Reddit to help me understand it a little better. But if this is true, this could see some massive, massive changes in the OTC market. And market makers might not be able to hold down stocks, just infinitely naked shorting as many shares as they want, like they used to be able to do. So that would be a great change that came from GME, and I would be really excited to see that. So I'm fingers crossed on that one, guys. That is the big news for today. So now I want to talk about the stocks that I traded today. I actually stayed away from every single NASDAQ. Well, I traded one NASDAQ today and lost some money on it because I hate NASDAQ. But you can see here, this stock that short squeezed in after hours, it just faded on down, opened up, had a panic right at open, and then squeezed a little bit more here, and then just kept on fading off. So there was definitely an opportunity. Not if you buy right at open. Excuse me. Not if you buy right at open after it's been fading off all this time, but if you get in on a little dip there, and it makes a higher low, I think that's a decent entry for a trade like this. This is what I was looking for when I was shorting. I was looking for a pattern like this, where it spikes up and then it just fades off, lower lows, lower highs, but that's not what I got, and it is what it is. Now I want to talk about some of the best plays that I did make today. Let's see, OZSC. This was my play of the day, OZSC. Right out of the gate, we had a really, really nice panic. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red candles in a row. I somehow bought 200,000 shares right here at 231, I believe. Or maybe it was 100,000, I forget. I definitely bought 200,000 later on in the day. But I was able to sell, into this spike. And I think I ended up selling way too soon. I think I tried to sell when it wicked up here, and I ended up selling down here, which kind of stinks because then it came all the way back up here. But I still made like 1,000 on this right at open, so that was nice. Again, you see 8 red candles in a row like this on any stock, especially right at open. Morning panic. It's typically going to have a nice bounce, so I love that type of pattern. And that was probably my play of the day. And then after that, it got kind of choppy. I actually want to talk to you guys real quick about some more news from OZSC. I actually took a screenshot, so I'll throw it up on the screen for you. Brian Conway said, "Hey folks, I've been completely swamped to make any time to pop in, so he hasn't been able to speak in there a little bit, but he said, as you saw in last week's PR, we have a total of 16 lithium-ion battery projects in the boroughs of New York that we're in mid-close on. What you don't know is that Acadia Realty Trust has offered us 150 locations across the U.S. with our first look option that has us pretty bogged down, cherry-picking the most lucrative options to develop with battery storage, focusing on California, Texas, and New York at the moment. They added some new people to he said, they added some new people to their team, some 2 amazing additions that I hope to PR ASAP, so a couple more PRs coming, and some other updates. Over 20 electric vehicle charger orders have been invoiced, closing the solar panel order this week, $1 million per month for 1 year. Our friend at Citi Field is closing the New York Mets, getting update after 2 p.m. TA change is happening right now. Had to move some shares around. I realize this caused some panic, but I assure you this will take care of any future surprises. Enough said on that. So I'm not sure what that means. Maybe that explains kind of the sell-off in the last couple of days. And then he said the company retreats this weekend to lock down many of these projects. Company direction, planning out the next 6 months as we're growing incredibly fast. And he said that my time, 12:33. That's right before this big spike. You can see right here he said that there was a big spike in volume. Everyone starts buying, and I wish I'd been paying more attention in this chat. But It looks like we got some good things coming for OZSC. Again, it was pretty disappointing when we had that news released, the other day, and it just faded off since then because, yeah, I think it was right here. We had the news released on this day, and then it just died, and it has died since then. So definitely like this price point more for loading up. We got to see what OZSC continues to do, but man, hopefully this just continues to give some good trades. I don't want to turn into a bag holder on it, but I'm still pretty excited for it. I still think we got some good things coming. But again, I'm not willing to hold and hope on a stock like this where there's just so many hidden sellers, and it's kind of weird, kind of strange in that regard. UAMM. This is when we were hoping for the continuation, and it held this support pretty damn well at that kind of 8-cent level for a little bit, and it bounced up a little bit, and it did curl here, but overall pretty disappointing. I mean, it didn't come down all that much, it didn't tank a ton, but also really wasn't too exciting. I'm not sure. Yes, I made $6 on this stock. I did trade it, but not really a ton of great opportunities because some of the other ones that there were better opportunities on. Let me just name a few tickers for you guys. VDRM. Its stock was 1.3 pennies yesterday and reached a high of 4.09 cents today. And man, I made some good money on this one. Made $685 on this one, and definitely still on watch for tomorrow, but had a big pullback, so probably, if I had to guess, not going to see too much action. The next one I want to mention, get an honorable mention in here. This is the bad boy. This is the almost 2,000% on one day. Look at this stock, guys. Absolutely insane. It was 4 cents yesterday. Today, it spiked all the way up and hit a high of 92 cents. 92 cents. Absolutely insane. It actually might have been 2,000 at the high there. Might have been 2,000% at the high there. I'm not sure. I wasn't watching super closely, but that's just insane, guys. So much opportunity here, but I actually ended up losing money on this stock. It had really slow executions, and some of my pending cancels, I got screwed on today, And if you guys are not aware of what that is, it's where you place an order. Say I place a buy, right here at 52 cents, right? I try to buy at 52 cents, but I don't get filled. And it keeps going. The price is going. Now it's printing 58 cents. And I'm like, shoot. All right, well, I'm going to cancel my order. So I hit cancel, but it doesn't verify cancel. It's stuck in a pending cancel. And the price comes back down, and I get filled on the way back down. So even though I already hit cancel, a minute or two ago, it still says pending cancel, and then I get filled on the way back down. So very, very frustrating on stocks like this. You got to be so careful because there's so much range. Again, it's a 2,000% day range. So if you take 10,000 shares at 70 and you sell it at 73, that's $300. If you buy it at 58 and you get stuffed and you're selling at 47, you just lost $1,100. And that doesn't look like that much room on the chart. So there's a lot of room to take a big L, even with small size on this stock. I was trading small size and I still got screwed a lot. And it's pretty frustrating. Definitely pretty frustrating. So you got to be really careful on stocks like this. But that being said, it did close over VWAP. And potentially could see some continuation tomorrow. So definitely be watching this one, guys. Just got to be very careful. Got to be very careful because it's up so much. I tried to short it at 80 cents, but I could not get the shares on the new broker. I think I'm going to have to switch brokers, guys. This broker is really pissing me off, honestly. So that's just a whole nother story. MDMP, this was actually moving again today. We had some nice range here. It doesn't look like a lot because, the other range was so big. But, 29 cents all the way up to 36, that's some pretty decent range there. That's some pretty decent range. I actually ended up getting screwed on this one because I chased, and then I ended up selling right at the bottom and on like one of these big wicks. So again, spread is super thin. You got to be really careful on these stocks, guys. Got to be really careful. AOYI, this had some really good opportunities today, guys. Some really good opportunities. And I got in not big enough size here on this dip. And a lot of people in the Discord actually got in on that one. That was a pretty good call out because it had really good support in this area. And then it bounced back up, sold into that spike. And then I was just flipping some of this spread, guys. Today was a very choppy day. And on these choppy days, you got to learn how to flip those spreads. And again, let me explain, how I do that. So you can see here, there's kind of a wall at 85, right? And it drops all the way down. I wish I gotten filled here. But just to explain a little bit about what I was doing, there was a bid at 81. And I put my bid right over that bid at 81.1, and I got filled like 100,000 shares. Pretty big size, but the risk is really not that big. I'm risking like 200 bucks. Risking like 200 bucks there. And, there was a pretty decent support there. And so because of that, the only person selling was at like 83.5, 83.4, 83.3. So if you buy here, if you market sell, Fidelity was giving it to me like 80, 82 in the mid 82s, 82.3, 82.5. Sometimes they were 84. They might have been at 84 and I was market selling, getting out like 82.9, 82.8, something like that. So you do that over and over, it really adds up, especially on a zero commission broker. And on slow, choppy days like this, that is a really good way to add to your profits. It's a really good way to add to your profits because I was at like 700 bucks before like the last 2 hours of the day. And I did stuff like this a lot. So look for those opportunities on ALYI and on a couple other stocks. AABB, this one did actually continue. It's gapped up a little bit, had a panic, bounced, and then closed right near those highs. So this could actually gap up again tomorrow. Again, I said yesterday this one was on pretty high watch, and I think this one could keep running. Now it might get overextended. Maybe it just goes into a morning panic tomorrow. I would be fine with that too. That would be awesome. So we'll see if that happens. MAXD, this is one I put in the pinned comments because they put out a press release again after I filmed my video. But you can see, man, I told you guys in the pinned comments to be watching this one. It gapped up big and spiked right at open. That was a nice move. I didn't get filled. I might have seen it like there and I didn't feel like chasing and then it ended up spiking. But it's just cool to see, what happens on stocks like this when they release the news. Again, MAXD, whenever it releases news, it always tends to spike up. So if you can catch one of those midday, that's always a really, really good trade. And then, it just ended up fading off a little bit towards the end of the day. Let's see what else. ADMQ, I gave back some gains on this one. This was super thinly traded, spiked up big and then just kind of died. Got to be careful on stocks like this. NXGT. This is another one. I got screwed on this stock. Taking too big size. Got absolutely screwed. Again, guys, on stocks that are this thinly traded, if you're buying here, you can't take 10,000 shares because if you have to cut down here, that's a $400, $500 loss, which is crazy because it looks like nothing. But this stock was up a lot on the day. AITX, looks like I lost 47 bucks on this one. It had a nice little panic at open and then really didn't bounce much at all. Because Fat Man was just still going full WWE. Had another little dip here. A little bit of a pop-up, but just not enough range. 10.05 to 10.07. I am just not convinced enough to buy these dips at this point. I'm just really not. So AITX, unless it starts doing something, it's not really one that I want to be watching too much anymore. ENZC, this actually had some news, I believe. This had some news today, but really didn't seem to do much. I think it had news like right near open, but didn't seem to do much. So this is always on watch for morning panic, and I'll be watching for that. One of my biggest watches actually is actually TSNPD, and you can see why if I zoom out a little bit more for you. So what can you guys see about this price point right here? 275. This is the support line, guys. This is the support line, and it has not broken this at all. It hasn't broken this at all. So if it breaks 275, which is testing, we could see a nice morning panic dip by tomorrow on TSNP. So that would be my number one play if that happens. I'm hoping it happens. It'd be sick. It'd be sick to see that. If you're holding and hoping, be careful if it drops under 275. That's all I'm going to say. So just be careful. That's a crazy gap up. That must be missing info. Yeah, it's probably missing info. Or that's where the reverse split happened, maybe. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. TSNPD, looking for morning panic on that. If there's any other news, guys, as always, I'll be calling it out in the Discord. If there's any other plays, I'll be calling out in the Discord. And yeah, again, that's pretty much it. Any morning panics is probably the biggest play. See some continuation on those 1,000% gainers. And I'm just gonna be playing carefully. But hopefully we start getting some more squeezes because those market makers aren't gonna be able to do the same stuff. That should again start on the 19th. So fingers crossed. Because if they can't naked short us, we're going to see some of these stocks run even harder than they typically do. So that's going to be sick. And yeah, again, I think that's it. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, Adios, my friends. I'll see you in the next one. Let's go better together. I forgot what I say. Bye-bye.
Preguntar, bebé, dime por qué te mientes. No puedes esconder todo lo que tú por mí sientes.